El Jefe returns in Ash vs. Evil Dead. Two standalone games that can be played individually or connected to heighten the horror. Enter the Retro Realms, if you dare.
RetroRealms is a brand new video game franchise that consists of 16-bit arcade-style side-scrollers set in the world of various horror IPs. The first two that just came out are for Ash vs. the Evil Dead and the Halloween franchise, and when I saw the announcement trailer for these games, I was pretty excited, not gonna lie. The gameplay looked fun as hell, it looked like a perfect game for the Halloween season, and I'm down for pretty much anything that bears the name Evil Dead or Halloween. Seriously, if you see me walking on the side of the road and you pull up next to me in a white creepy looking van, all you have to do is say that the van is an officially licensed Evil Dead van, and then a month later me and you can star in an episode of Unsolved Mysteries together. But anyway, those two games just came out a few days ago and I've been playing them. They've eaten up quite a bit of my time lately, which means I have a lot of thoughts I want to share with you guys. So I'm gonna jump into the review. I'm gonna show you guys some raw gameplay, but before I do that, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, I talk about video games all the time on this channel. I do day one reviews all the time. I do other video game discussions, that sort of thing. But anyways, enough with this introduction. Let's talk about Retro Realms. So first off, right off the bat, I want to get this out in the open, just so you know my perspective going into this review, but I don't think these games are for me. Or more specifically, I don't think this genre in general is for me. I've never really played 16-bit arcade-style side-scrollers before, but that's something I love about this channel. Ever since I've fully committed to making gaming content, it's forced me to play games that would have otherwise been completely out of my comfort zone and off my radar. It's opened my eyes and made me a fan of a bunch of new genres. Like, for example, Aliens Dark Descent was my first real-time strategy game, and I loved it. And now I'm eager to play more RTSs, and I probably never would have touched Black Myth Wukong before, but now it's one of my favorite games of the year, whereas before I had absolutely no interest in Souls-like games that weren't made by From Software themselves, and I genuinely thought that would 100% be the case here with this game as well. I thought a 16-bit side-scroller set in the world of not one, but two of my all-time favorite horror IPs would be a slam dunk entry point, but here I am, hours and hours of gameplay later, and I can't really say that I had much fun at all. I can't say that I'm frothing at the mouth, salivating at the idea of diving deeper into the 16-bit genre. But I am willing to admit that it could just be a case of me needing to get good. Like I said, I'm completely new to this genre, and learning the core fundamentals of the game design here made me feel like I was in school. I felt like I had to completely rewire my brain when it came to how I approached combat and progression. So with that being said, don't take my opinion, my thoughts on this game as gospel, but to be fair, you shouldn't really do that with any of my reviews, really, but most certainly not with this one. I have a feeling my opinion of this game is based more on personal opinion than any of my previous reviews, but anyways, with that out of the way, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. First off, this game is hard as hell. I probably died more in this game within the first 2 hours than I died in the first 20 hours of Elden Ring. I've probably died more here than the entire death toll of the bubonic plague. I absolutely suck at this game. I'm sure you can tell just by looking at the gameplay. This game has such a strong learning curve if you're not already accustomed to this style of gameplay. It's all about timing, it's all about pinpoint accuracy, it's all about moving the analog stick at the exact right trajectory, at the exact right moment, and if you don't, you might as well put Ash's chainsaw through your heart yourself, because there's absolutely no recovery and no way to fix your mistakes. And no matter how much I tried, no matter how much I practiced, no matter how many times times I hyped myself up in the bathroom mirror while I chewed on glass, I've yet to get good. I've gotten better for sure, but I'm still not good. I honestly don't think I can even say I'm halfway decent, but anyway, the core gameplay has you platforming and slaughtering enemies. Levels get progressively harder with different environment obstacles and harder enemies as you go. So for example, the first level could just be like simple platforming and simple hacking and slashing. Then the second level could introduce some trapdoors and the need for more ranged combat. Then the third level could have slippery floors, as if someone in the Smith's Grove sanatorium just flooded the building, then turned the temperature down to -30. Or it could have you playing the floor as lava. Literally, at around chapter 3, the floor turns to flames. When it comes to combat, both Michael and Ash play pretty similar to one another. Michael uses his knife. You can do a basic attack, a swipe, up swipe, down swipe, that sort of thing. Ash does the same thing, but with his chainsaw. Ranged attacks are a little different between characters, though. Like, Ash uses his trusty boomstick, and Michael just does a lunge attack. As you play through levels, you pick up money, and you can use the money to unlock different skills and upgrades, like more health, or a stronger swipe attack, or a more efficient ranged attack, that sort of thing. And that's when the gameplay between characters starts to vary more, and the levels are extremely replayable as well. The game is designed to be replayed over and over. The first time you get to a level, you're gonna suck, and you're gonna spend quite a while just learning what exactly is going on in the new level, where enemies are gonna appear, and how to get through the platforming sections in the quickest, most efficient way. There's a feature in the game where Michael or Ash can pull out an eyeball, and it changes the world around them. The basic level design stays the same, but the world changes aesthetically. The enemies are a little harder and a lot more aggressive, but this feature is mainly used to open up paths that are otherwise blocked off. But again, this game is all about trial and error and upgrading and returning to levels once you get more powerful, and chances are you'll be 10 times better than you were the first time you came through, and instead of focusing on just surviving long enough to get to the end, you can focus on different things, like trying to beat your high score, or getting all the collectibles like jack-o'-lanterns if you're Michael, or all the pages of the Necronomicon if you're Ash. And the main menu of the game has a little museum thing where you unlock different trinkets from the films, or just like little screen grabs from the game. It's basically just a visual representation to link both of the games together. But like I said, probably 5 times now, but I'm gonna say it again, I really suck at this game. It truly caught me off guard how hard it is. It seems like every single thing punishes you if you're not absolutely flawless. If you don't know exactly what to do and when to do it, the game is just gonna wipe the floor with you. And I thought it was a little unfair at first. The game seemed hard just for the sake of being hard, until it dawned on me that I needed to approach gameplay differently than most any other game I've played before. Instead of focusing on getting better at combat and becoming an absolute powerhouse, I had to focus mostly on memorization. Like I said, it's about dying over and over and over until you get to the point where your hands just know what to do. They go into autopilot mode because they've learned. It's about remembering when an enemy is gonna pop out or when an acid ball is gonna fall. It's about knowing at what exact second you should jump onto a platform and what exact second a creature is gonna burst out of a door and try and sneak attack you. It's all about muscle memory and the addictive urge to get good. And I get it. It's designed to be like a game from an arcade cabinet, one where you're supposed to suck and you're supposed to be addicted to that get good feeling, so you keep pumping in those quarters. And again, I'll be honest with you guys, when I did start to get a little bit better, when I did start honing my skills even slightly, it was wicked satisfying. It was cool going through a level with relative ease after it had just kicked my ass over and over and over. It is a really addictive feeling. It was so easy to just say one more go. But still, this style of game isn't my preferred way to learn. It's not my ideal gaming experience when it comes to challenge versus payoff. But again, that's 100% personal preference. You might completely disagree. But it's worth mentioning, even though this game is hard on purpose and it's designed to have a steep learning curve, some aspects of the difficulty and the gameplay just felt a little broken and unbalanced to me. A lot of the time enemies would damage me even if they didn't touch me. When enemies shoot acid balls, they're pretty much going to hit you no matter what, no matter where you move. Oftentimes when I press the button to swing my weapon, there would be a fraction of a second that it was delayed, resulting in me taking damage instead. There's been so many times that I watched my hand press the button to grab a ledge, and I watched my thumb push up on the analog stick. I watched that happen with my own two eyes, but my character just decided not to do it. They decided they were too good to listen to my orders, so I burned to death instead. There's just so many of those small, little, tiny gameplay annoyances that made it hard for me to have fun with this game, even though I desperately wanted to. And in all honesty, this game made me feel a sense of gamer rage that I practically never feel. I'm a pretty chill dude. It takes a lot to get my blood boiling, especially when it comes to a video game, of all things, but every single second I was playing RetroRealms, my blood pressure was through the roof. Yes, half of the reason was because I just suck ass at it, and it made me question my skills with a controller, but the other half is because of the small gameplay annoyances that I felt shouldn't be there. And also, $50 for these two games is borderline insulting, if you ask me. Both are pretty short. I'm sure if you're skilled at this genre of game, you can beat them both in one afternoon. I'd say these two games together are worth no more than $30. $15 a piece is more than fair, but that could just be me. If you love this style of game and you love the Halloween and Evil Dead franchises and $50 seems fair to you, I doubt you'll regret spending the money. But anyways, that's my thoughts after spending the last few days with RetroRealms. Clearly, I'm not the biggest fan, but again, and I know I sound like a broken record here, but I want to make it clear this review is coming from the perspective of someone who is completely new to this genre. Again, don't take my opinion as fact, it's just my opinion. The opinion of some random dude. But I want to know what you're thinking of the game. Have you played it? If so, are you liking it more than me? Less than me? And if you haven't played it, do you plan to? Or are you going to ignore it completely? Either way, I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and thank you for watching, especially if you watched this far.